Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we're going to talk about the brand new, well, not so brand new anymore, SG Pulse electronic level. And of course, I know most of you are going to be curious how it stacks up compared to the Sendit level, and we have this with the Prantville ocular piece. If you've been around the channel before, you know that this is what I run. I have two of these setups on two of my competition rifles. Well, I got my hands on the SG Pulse. They did send it in for review, but I did take this out and field test it at the Gap Grind, which is a huge PRS Pro-Am match. I shot 20 stages with this, plus a practice day, so I have a pretty good idea how this works, and I'm ready to give you guys my thoughts. There are pros and cons to this. A lot of pros, a few cons, and some features that I think that are over here on the Sendit that this doesn't have, but let's get right into it. So first of all, this is going to come with a kind of universal pick rail mount. It works really well. I've had zero issues with this. Pick rail mount, good to go. Also comes or is available with the M-LOK mount. Just going to say it, they need to redesign it. It's not any good. It doesn't hold it tight enough. And your electronic level is something that you need very securely mounted to your rifle. Now, as far as the pick rail, this is going to give you a ton of options. If you buy a Sendit level, basically that's what you're going to get as well. So you're going to get a pick rail option. So both come with basically very compatible mounting options, and that's kind of where they start to diverge. Now, obviously, the Sendit level is a 1/3 N battery, so you have to worry about a battery, something you need to carry spare batteries on you. And if you have it outfitted like mine, it can be a pain. On some of my rifles, I have to actually take the mount off to take the housing off to get to the battery. The battery's in there really tight. If you own it, you know the deal. They do last a long time, but they're very easy to accidentally leave on, and they will go dead on you. So that's something you have to consider. Here you have a magnetic charging, so this is rechargeable, and I found that it works really well. Now, I charged this up completely before I went to the match, shot it with the practice day and the 2 days of competition. I turned it off and on accordingly throughout the day, but I never had to recharge it. So this lasted me a full 2-day match plus practice and didn't die on me. So the battery life on this is really good as long as you're mindful and not just leaving it on all the time, which is pretty easy. Like I said, it is just push button. You push and hold it, and it'll turn on. Now, as far as how they work with you as a shooter, I will say that the Sendit level is probably a little bit more intuitive once you get it set up. And I say that because in its stock configuration, when you have it like horizontal, it has an array of LEDs, and it's going to give you like direction. So you get like a direction to turn the rifle to bring it level. With the SG Pulse, you're just getting a light. So all that means is, you know, you need to figure out the colors, and that just means you need to train with it a little bit. You need to get behind it. You need to shoot it for a couple training sessions so that when you look and it's red, you know that the rifle needs to be tilted this way to get it back to green. And the benefit here over the Sendit is this is all app-based, and it's super easy to set up. You literally set your rifle up, make sure it's nice and still, make sure it's leveled, go into the app, hit calibrate, done. The Sendit is a little bit different. It's more of a manual deal. You got to like turn a knob a certain amount of times, and I almost always have to refer back to figure out how to do that. Same here with brightness. You adjust the brightness via the app. You adjust the sensitivity, basically like how many degrees it will allow it to stay level as you turn, kind of the field of level in a degree. All done via the app, all really easy to do. Every time I've tried to connect to this, it's connected right away. Every time I made a change, it's done it. Like the app works really well. But for some people, being tied to that app may not be the best deal. This does give you full analog control, and that's a pro and a con depending on your use case scenario, because if you don't carry a phone with you or your phone's always dead, then this is going to make your life a little bit easier. But it is not as intuitive to set up, you know, so calibrating it, sensitivity, those kind of things is a little bit harder. Now, I will say brightness, obviously you have a manual knob here, so you can just turn this guy up, you can turn it down, so that's something you can do real time, even while you're on a prop, while you're shooting a stage. With the SG Pulse, you're going to have to go back to the app. So the app for me is, you know, it's very helpful. It works really well. but you have to use the app to actually make any changes. So I could see where some people may not like that. Now, because you do get that app integration, you are able to integrate this with the timer that they run. You can use your phone, take videos, and get a lot of training value if you're really trying to dig down deep if you're pairing this with their timer and their phone app. Amazing tool for training. Now, one thing I will say that could be a con, I never even considered it because, you know, I don't fall in that category. But if you're a little bit colorblind or all the way colorblind, you're not going to be able to use something like this because as you move the rifle, the panel is just a color that changes to another color. And if you can't easily identify or distinguish the color differences on this, then it's basically useless for you. So that would bring you back to the Send It level. Obviously, the Send It level has been around a really long time, has a really great track record, but it's expensive, especially when you start adding the Brant-Built ocular housing piece, which a lot of guys do. This gets really pricey. You know, this is much more affordable. So to get to the bottom line, I've had zero issues with the SG Pulse. It appears to be, from my use, a really great level. Everybody else who I know has used it has liked it and has good success with it. And for the price point, it's going to be hard to overlook. So I would say if you're on the fence, probably ought to just go ahead and pick one of these up because they are really good. Now, if you're in the boat where you know you want to use something like the Brant-Built, or you're colorblind, or you like the fact that there are multiple LEDs on the stock configuration that kind of steer you, then I still think that the Send It level is very viable. I do not think that either one of these cancel out each other. I think there is definitely place in the market for both of these and very valid reasons to own both. So another great addition to the precision rifle market. Man, we have new stuff coming out time and time and time again, and it's a great time to be involved with it. I appreciate you guys watching. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments below, but I wanted to make this short, want to make it concise, give you guys a skinny on what I thought about the SG Pulse, and hopefully it helps you make a decision if you were looking at something like this. But I appreciate you guys watching. We'll turn this guy off so I don't forget, and we'll catch you on the next one.